Welcome to our weekly podcast show. We're here at the University of Rio Grande, OSU South Center's collaboration here at the University of Rio Grande studio.
Each week we feature a Southern Ohio small business, a student, faculty, or administration person here at the University of Rio Grande. We also feature program managers from the Ohio State University South Centers, Southern Ohio Community and Economic and Development Programs, and community organizations and other special guests.
You know, Jason, our mission is simple: to promote the University of Rio Grande and its diverse educational programs, promote the Ohio State University South Centers and its many business technology programs, and finally promote Southern Ohio. Great place to live, learn, and enjoy life to the fullest.
I'd like to welcome all of our listeners to the show and introduce myself. I'm Jason Winters, Director of the Center for Small Business Entrepreneurship at the University of Rio Grande. With me is Mike Thompson, Instructional Design and Media Services Director, Patrick Dengel, Business Development Special with the OSU Rio Collaboration. And today our special guest is Kingsley Meyer. Kingsley is the Director of the Campus Computing and Networking Service here at the University of Rio Grande. Kingsley holds a key position at the university that fosters the use and growth of technology, broadband, and personal computing devices at the university and throughout the southeastern Ohio area.
You know, Jason, Kingsley is a wealth of knowledge about many facets of the internet technology, not only in using it, but understanding the value and how it fits into our world society. No one person can keep up with all the different technology that is being spent out into the world, but I do feel that the University of Rio Grande is very fortunate to have Kingsley as the director. He does his best. Isn't that right, Kingsley?
Well, best is the best you can do, I guess.
Well, with all that said, Kingsley, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me today.
So, Kingsley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the Director of Campus Computing and Networking, and just about everything I know I owe to my staff and the folks from the state of Ohio's ORNet network that have taught me just about everything we're going to talk about today. Shout out to Mike and Alan, Mary, and all the people that really deliver the services for networking here on campus, and for people here in Gallia County that are pulling off the network that we use today to reach small businesses and residential service.
So let's start by talking a little bit about the status of the broadband expansion into the world, our nation, and most importantly to us, southeastern Ohio.
Gosh, what a great, exciting time to be talking about this. Just this week, our governor here in the state of Ohio announced an expansion to the ORNet state backbone, going from a 10 gig network to 100 gig.
Now, Kingsley, what does ORNet mean?
Ohio Academic Research Network was founded as a branch of the Ohio State University to connect research institutions together for high-performance computing and networking. That network today is what connects governments, education, and schools like Rio Grande. Their big backbone is the structure of fiber and networking equipment that carries an aggregated amount of traffic from large networks across and then out to the internet. We're just on the outside edge of that network, and today Rio Grande has 2 fiber networks that connect back to the ORNet backbone.
So, you know, that's rather interesting. Here we're sitting in a University of Rio Grande studio. We are podcasting. In other words, we're going through Blog Talk Radio. We're on educational TV. We're broadcasting out to the University of Rio Grande.
And YouTube will be later.
And YouTube, that will be later. And it's...
what do you want to add?
You know, Mike, that is very, very true. How much we have available all through the internet services.
You know, I've heard it said that if you can see the sky, you can get on the internet. And for some people, the only option they may have to connect to the internet might be through a satellite connection. For others, they're more fortunate. Our metropolitan areas might have a multitude of different providers. whether it be their telephone company, their cable TV company. In the more rural areas of Ohio and other states, those options may be more limited.
And with buying a house, when they say location, 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 that is also going to include the location, can you get internet? 'Cause
Sure.
that will be very important.
It's not just your neighbors and water and sewer and the school district. Do I get, high-speed internet?
Because I need my Netflix, right?
It could be Netflix. It could be that you're a professional that works at home.
Right.
You could be furthering your academic credentials by studying online. Surely the graduate students that do work online need to have high-performance networking, which we call today by broadband.
And you'll be downloading books, video, audio, and all the support materials for class.
One of the large limitations for this area is limited broadband in our rural areas. A lot of our students, and myself included, do have satellite, which is a form of high speed. It's not as high as fiber, obviously, but one of the problems with satellite that we see is the latency issue. So if you're doing video conferencing in a classroom, it usually causes a problem.
And latency is delay. When,
Correct.
like you've seen on TV, somebody speaking halfway across the world, they got to wait till they get the message.
If you're downloading a PDF document or you're uploading photos or downloading things, you can wait a few seconds longer. But if you're waiting for somebody's next word or seeing the motion in a video, you can't, you just cannot accept latency as being acceptable.
And the gamers are very in tune with that.
You're killed already.
Yeah. You could be dead and not know it yet.
So, when we talk about broadband coming to your home or small business, depending upon what that nature of the business is, you might have requirements. And you do need to be concerned about where you are placing your business. We have a recent announcement here in Gallia County of Battlefield Telecommunications Solution, BTS, which Sean Lane is setting up here, a local branch of his business. I'm sure, and I'm not speaking for Sean because hopefully he'll be on this show later on, one of his considerations was, does Gallia County have a high-speed fiber optic network that can support the types of application development that he and his business associates will be creating here in Gallipolis? And we're very fortunate that Holzer Medical Center and Oblenis and Adina and others partnered to form the Southern Ohio Healthcare Network. And when that project was funded, it allowed Horizon Telecom to bid on it, and they have built out a high-capacity fiber network through Gallia County. From that, we now can serve many other anchor institutions, Rio Grande, Buckeye Rural Electric, but also many other smaller businesses as well. And we've had Silverbridge Coffee
Yes.
on the show.
Yes.
And Silverbridge runs their roasters. It gets downloads for their roasters on a daily basis because they get high-speed internet.
Yes, and the internet has really created a lot of different unique tools, such as the iPads and the iPods and the iPhones and Android devices. It's just amazing how we can go from one county to the next and be in constant communication. There's very few.
And much of that is because of a very robust cellular network run by a number of carriers. We're pretty familiar with the names of Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, and many of the other ones, and Telos. But we also see all of their towers. And all of their towers are along the highway because that's where they get the majority of their traffic. And they hand off your signal from tower to tower as you roam. Well, if you're out in a rural area and you don't get a cell signal, you're not getting that access to their network. And if we're talking 3G or the new 4G flavors of networking, that's not broadband at your location. So either they have to build it out or you need to get a fixed wireless connection from a wireless internet service provider to your home. And in our area, JB Nets is a company that is doing that off of a wired connection, a connection to those backbone companies like Verizon and AT&T. So from here, we're only looking at the physics of a radio signal in the hills and hollows of Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Vinton County. And if you're not within the reach of one of their towers, then they need to set up a business case to build out to your location. And much of that modeling has been done in the state of Ohio with the help of Connect Ohio, part of our Connected Nation organization out of Washington. And they have assisted by doing some of the radio studies and some of the business models, so that Jake and Steve would know, if I am going to be putting up a new tower, how quickly might I return my investment, because I can see through the census maps how many homes might be eligible for needing broadband. It's a business decision. It's not all physics.
Now, those fixed-base sites you're talking about, those are also line of sight. They actually have to be visible to the user. Is that correct?
Now,
A
this is where
tree
this-
can get in the way.
Yeah. Don't consider us all authorities today, but we're advocates of it. Line of sight means that you have to have a physical, no physical obstructions. You can see trees through there, but you can't go through hills. The radio signals don't bend around corners. Mike, you're the radio guy. Is that good enough?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Well, what if
But
we
like
use
my
smoke and
satellite,
mirrors,
the tree limb will get in the way and I'm out.
There are
But
many.
this is more like a high frequency radio signal, much as FM straight line of sight, AM bounces around.
And these guys have a lot of different options in their bag of tricks, different radio frequencies and types of equipment to meet their local needs.
Well, it does bring up a strong issue, though. As our technology continues to expand, 2 years ago, we do not have the tools that we have now, and I would imagine that 2 years from now, we're going to look back at the information that we have, and we're going, boy, how did we really exist?
That's funny, because we talked a second ago about mobile devices. In our residence halls, we have students that come from all over to live here on campus and study, and our dorms are physically connected. Many of them have never seen a wire plugged into a computer, and mobility and wireless environments are here, and it will be the predominant way of connecting in the future. And you're going to want to have wireless everywhere. There are times that people sit out in parks and they want to do something a little bit more than just make a phone call, and they're going to want to have free Wi-Fi in that area.
Yeah, in some colleges in the dorm, well, you could be anywhere. You could be in the library. You get on your mobile phone, and you can check the status of the washer and dryer that your clothes are in to see if it needs changed. So you can then run from the library over to the washer and dryers.
So
Everything's going to be wired.
I'm a big proponent of analogies, so I'm going to throw one out here. 60 years ago, everyone had one automobile, and gas was unlimited. Well, now let's think about the internet. How much we're using the internet. I mean, it's not just one in a house or one in a business. Everybody's connected. And it seems like we have an unlimited use of bandwidth. But are we going to run out of bandwidth like we're running out of gasoline?
Maybe that explains why the state of Ohio is moving to a 100 gig backbone to carry all the state's traffic. It is not necessarily a pay-as-you-go world right now. On telephones, unless you are grandfathered in with an unlimited plan, you have a 2 gig a month limit. But if you're doing high-speed applications that are bandwidth hogs, pardon the expression, they're ones that are using a lot of network, a lot of traffic back and forth. And streaming video, high-definition video would require more.
Video conferencing like Skype or FaceTime.
And, I've heard stories of people that have, gotten a limited plan, and by the time they bought a computer for Christmas and the kids have gotten on and they were watching movie trailers and anything, they might be shut down to a more limited use for the rest of the month because there is a cap on that. pretty soon, the backbone networks have to be larger, and they have to purchase more internet connectivity from their upstream tier providers in order to satisfy the increasing demand and need.
Which you bring up a good point. Where is this technology? What is going to be the next step in the technology?
You didn't tell me I had to bring a crystal ball.
And if he knew that, he'd be making so much money, he wouldn't be here with us.
Boy, that gets me off of the hook here.
Let me call Steve Jobs and see what he knows.
But
No,
perhaps it'll
think
be-
of the game changers, though.
Yes, yes.
The iPod changed everything.
Yes.
The iPhone then changed the device, so it was also
Yes.
a phone device.
Yes.
Tablets have come along so that they're now a larger format so that you can see more and read more. And in education, we're seeing a transformation in the use of tablets for instruction. But tablets can also be used, as Mike said, about controlling things. And what students often ask us is, do I need a desktop computer? Do I need a laptop computer? Should I just get a tablet? In my mind of thinking, I do like the fact that I can have a keyboard underneath each of my little fingers, and I can grab a mouse. I have a little degree more accuracy. But it would be hard to pry my tablet out of my hands in the evenings and weekend when I'm reading things. E-texts, reading the news, consuming content. That's where tablets come into light. And yes, Netflix.
Okay, well, you heard this first. Holographs are going to be the next major invention. And, you open up a tablet, and instead of seeing a two-dimensional screen, you're going to see a three-dimensional Jason.
Pat, I'm not really here right now.
But
So do you have the patent on that? Is there intellectual property
I
that
wish
Pat
there
Dengel
was.
and the Ohio State University has that we're disclosing here today?
I wish we had, but in 2 years, it's possible, and I think it really depends upon, really sitting down and being creative enough. It's no longer in our technology. It's no longer, boy, that's sort of a weird thought. It's coming to pass.
One of the memorable events in my childhood was when my parents took us to the New York World's Fair.
You saw the first plane take off or something?
Yes, it was there, the Shadow LaGuardia. But what I remember is the AT&T pavilion that had picture phones.
Yes.
And today, I pick up my phone and I Skype with my daughter in Geneva
Yes.
across the internet.
Yes.
Well, that came to be during my lifetime. We will see the holograms that you described within your lifetime, I'm sure. The other side of all of this is that, we have to have creative people that create applications. And, Sean, that we described earlier from BTS, has created a lot of very innovative applications for handheld devices that are used in battlefield scenarios.
So, like, you remember the thing on the Terminator, where the guy would just, you would see the view from the Terminator, and he would look at someone, and he could tell if they were a good guy or bad guy or something. That's kind of stuff that he's into, where, facial recognition, then it would go back and research a database, and it would tell you all about this person just by sight. And the cop cars nowadays have that. They can drive down the road, scan all the license plate, and when they drive past one, it'll tell whether it's stolen or not, and then they can go pull it over.
I mean, what an innovative application. And we're going to see more and more of those. And they're going to be for mobile devices. And when Sean was speaking to the Chamber of Commerce dinner, he talked about some of his visions for developing some of these applications here in Gallia County. The project's called the Digital River Project, and the university supports it. And what we want to do is make sure that students in computer science have the programming skills to be able to move in that arena. The other side of all this, and I hate to bring up security, cyber terrorism, but everyone in general needs to know a little bit more about taking care of their device and making sure that they protect their personal information. Governments today are trying very hard to protect their intellectual property, such as your hologram application.
Right. Right. Well, without Jason knowing this, don't tell Jason, but Mike and I have been trying to, since Jason has $1,000,000 ideas, we have been trying to go in the back door and get those ideas. And
Well,
Do you have a key to my back door?
I ain't going there.
you know, ideas are part of the process. You know, design is part of the process. Software coding is part of the process. You know, bringing a product to market is a very complex project, and I believe, you know, that's part of what the Endeavor Center and the MBA program is all about. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's all
Yes.
about entrepreneurship.
yes.
And
Yes.
well, like whenever I introduced the iPads to the teachers in the School of Education, you know, this is a piece of hardware, and they said, "What do we do with it?" Like, well,
Anything you want to do with it.
depends on the applications. It's just like your computer. If you just got a computer and just has the OS on it, you can't do a whole lot. You turn it on. But once you put like Photoshop or whatever applications that you would use, you know, for your purpose, then it becomes very useful. And the entrepreneurship that goes behind developing new apps that can do the stuff that people want to do or haven't even thought that they wanted to do, that's where the money is.
And I agree with you about the creativity, the ability to at least be open to different possibilities that we have not been used to.
Yeah, you know about the blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean means that you're inventing something that doesn't have a market,
Yes,
just like the iPod. People didn't know they needed one until they saw it.
yes.
Mike and I attended a program that Apple Computer presented in Columbus for community colleges, and they had iPads on each of the tables in the presentation room, and they just simply said, pick them up. You know, the audience, they all came with iPads as well, but we both went through and flipped page after page of applications that they had pre-installed on that, because as educators, it was a great example for us to see some of the applications. And one page was just entirely for learning centers and for developmental education programs. One was for medical. One was for engineering. It's amazing how many applications are out there. You don't always see them on the front page of the iTunes App Store, but there are developers out there that are very focused on education, and our book publishers are very focused on taking plain text and making it come alive in a very innovative and imaginative way for the new e-texts of the future.
That is very, very true, because my wife is a second grade teacher. She has a smart board, and she also has an iPad in which there are a variety of different applications available for helping students, second graders, take advantage of the technology and the learning process.
And Pat, I don't know whether we will see your holograms in the next 10 years, but one thing I do think will happen within the next 10 years is you'll see the disappearance of the hard copies of a textbook.
Like when you went to school, you probably had an armload of regular textbooks.
Yeah, well, and
Pat
still,
might have had like an armload of like stone tablets or something.
yeah,
And so, you know,
and chisel.
And chisel.
and
Yeah,
so
don't
we
forget
would
the
only
chisel.
just carry around just like an iPad or some sort of tablet device, and you really wouldn't need a book bag.
Right.
The books are gone. They're all inside the iPad or whatever like device with rich media, pictures and animations and movies and all this stuff.
And you can put links in a textbook, but you still have to go to a computer to use it. When you're talking about a tablet where you're reading your textbook, the links are live. If you want to jump out and find research or more research on a subject matter, you click the link, it goes. There's a lot of advantages to textbooks that are ebooks.
Yes. Getting back to Kingsley's talk about the security issues, etc. That's one of the biggest concerns that I'm the oldest one here, and so I have seen in the past where computers programs were just not thoroughly tested, and things would crash, and you hear constantly week after week of this company got broken into, hacked in.
It's amazing just how the world has changed. When the internet started interconnecting all the computers together, probably there was no malicious intent. There was the intent to do research and exchange ideas and data. But after a while, somebody got the idea that they could steal somebody's information for some purpose. Well, it wasn't too long before somebody decided that they would just mess around with your computer to make it misbehave. Well, it's turned around from just maliciousness to actually a profitable business for cyber crime syndicates, and they're internationally based. When you get your computer infected, oftentimes it's because they have hijacked a website or sent you mail that is a phishing, and when you click on it, your computer gets infected.
Just think about it like this. Maybe it'll bring it home and make it important to everybody. What do you have on your computer? Like everything from photos, your banking, all this stuff. Just imagine leaving your house open during the day. Anybody, your neighbors, or some guy from Russia could just waltz through your house, go through all your files, look at all your tapes and all your pictures, and just rummage through everything. That is something very real about your computer, because a lot of people's lives are like inside their computers, and you have to take this very seriously with the security.
And
But criminals have got very good at this. As a matter of fact, just a few minutes ago,
He just got hacked.
Yeah, I did. I got a wonderful email from American Airlines that
and
said
that was on our network.
Actually, it wasn't on your network. It was on my personal. It came to my phone. It was through my personal email that said my tickets had been confirmed, and click on the print the ticket. And of course, the first thing I thought is, has someone purchased tickets in my name?
What generous soul gave you an airline ticket, right?
Well, yeah.
Let's see who that was.
So, it happens.
Well, and
if you didn't ask for it, don't open it.
So I went to Mike's computer and opened it.
large companies, large international countries are involved in cyber terrorism. There are numerous examples of when the Soviet Union, Russia, had gone in and locked down the state of Georgia, or when the Estonians were acting up a bit and they literally blocked off all communications for that entire country. Today, there are accusations that governments have gone into Iran and with a Stuxnet virus have affected their nuclear industry to shut it down. It's real. It's happening today. It might be just stealing Jason's information by phishing with airplane tickets, or it could be that our entire military force is gearing up for making sure that a Star Wars scenario of fake attacks don't occur, and that we can defend ourselves from cyber attacks that would affect our infrastructure, our electric grid, and many other things. I can't possibly stay awake at night worrying about this, but some of the best minds in our country are studying in computer science and learning how we can go about to identify and do the forensics to protect ourselves. And we've all seen antivirus programs for individual computers. My recommendation is do your updates. Keep an active antivirus program and a subscription going, and don't click on airplane tickets if you haven't ordered them.
If you get a zip file in an email, it's probably not something good.
Yeah, go to your less likely friend and open it on their computer, right?
Or an EXE. EXEs are bad. So we have 1 minute. Is there anything you want to make sure that people hear? Wrap up?
I just want to get online gambling becoming a problem. What?
Well, online gambling or any type of addiction, I think I love technology, but I personally make sure that I step away from the keyboard, get outside, and remember what it's like to feel the change of the seasons. If you are immersed in a computer all the time, then you're missing out an awful lot on life, and you have to remember that we are humanity. We do live as humans, and we interact with each other.
Very well put.
I agree. Kingsley, thank you for speaking on our show. We have to have you back.
Enjoy being here. Thank you.
Next week, we're having Christy Welsh. Christy is the business development counselor with Ohio Farmers Market and Ohio State University. I'm Patrick.
I'm Jason.
And I was the guest, Kingsley.
And Mike.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening.